So in today's video, I've got a grocery haul and I've also got some awesome meal prep inspiration for you guys. I recently spent a weekend totally just cooking in my kitchen, which is one of my favorite things to do, and I wanted to share with you everything that I made. First off, I made some blueberry bread, which is delicious. You are not going to want to miss this recipe. I also made some pasta caprese salad, some cinnamon cake with cream cheese frosting. I'm also making several lasagnas to deliver for Lasagna Love. And then I'm also going to share with you guys how I meal prep a dinner for a quicker weeknight meal during the week. You are not going to want to miss this. Let's get started. Okay, so I got some really awesome stuff from Misfits Market this week, and I'm super excited because that means I don't have to go to the grocery store, which is even more fantastic because I just got back from a work trip this week. So this is what we are going to be meal planning off of, and I thought I would show you the awesome haul that I got. Thank you so much to Misfits Market for sponsoring today's video. I am so excited to be working with them here on my channel because I know how awesome their grocery delivery service is, and I want to share the discount with you guys. So if you're not familiar with Misfits Market, they are an affordable online grocery store, and really their goal is to help break the cycle of food waste. What I really like about Misfits Market is that you can get up to 40% off grocery store prices, and they also have a lot of ingredients that I really can't find in my small town Midwest grocery stores. And by working directly with farmers and food producers, they are able to put in the work to save you money. So definitely check out what they have on their site. I will leave a link in my description box below where you guys can check them out. The bonus is that they are giving you a $15 discount on your first order, and I'll have that link in the description box below. So definitely give them a try. You will not regret it. I have always been happy with their services, and this is a great chance for you to save money on some much needed grocery staples. So be sure to check that link out in the description box below. You can use code Chapin15, that's CHAPIN15, for $15 off your first order at Misfits Market. Definitely with the holidays coming up, check that out. It is going to save you a ton of time not going to the grocery store, and definitely you will be thankful because Thanksgiving is coming up and no one has time to go to the grocery store. So check that out down below. Thin crust at Misfits Market. These are so good. I've had them a lot before, and they make really good homemade pizza. I got some celery, 2 pounds of grass-fed ground beef. I also got some sausage, some sweet Italian sausage. I thought that might be good in a pasta dish. And then I got some Mexican chorizo. Adam really likes that with eggs, so I might try to do some breakfast meal prep for him. I grabbed some Vermont Creamery cultured butter and some Vermont Creamery goat cheese. I think I'm gonna try to make a salad with the goat cheese. And then I got some top sirloin steak. Haven't decided what I'm gonna make with this yet, but I do have a couple recipes that I can pick from. I got some cherry tomatoes. Actually, I got quite a few. I got 3 packages of those. So those we use in salads, and the kids love snacking on them. Avocados, 2 red bell peppers, 4 limes. I also got some Organic Valley cream cheese. I really like that I can get the Organic Valley brand from Misfits Market because this is super hard to find around me, and I really love their dairy items. I also got some fresh scallions, some cilantro, some sliced fresh mozzarella, which I also got some tomatoes, and I have some basil here at home, so I might make some caprese, not sure yet. Some cottage cheese. I love the Organic Valley cottage cheese, and it's really good. I'm glad I can get it from there. Some salmon, which I might meal prep that or make it for dinner, I'm not sure yet. Mushrooms. I'm not a fan of mushrooms, but Adam really likes them, so I always cook them for him only. Chicken, mozzarella, and bacon ravioli. How good does that sound? Like with an Alfredo sauce or something? I don't know. I've just never seen that before, and I thought it sounded really good. So I don't know what we'll use it for, but we'll find something. Okay, I got some of the Essential Baking Company Demi Baguette. These are really good as well. I'm really glad that you can get them from Misfits Market. You just basically put them on the rack of the oven and they heat up in like 5 minutes. Super easy and delicious. I was also very happy to see that they had a 4-pack of Campbell's chicken noodle soup. I always love keeping this on hand for quick dinners or just when someone's sick and they need some soup. Another thing I can't find around me is microgreens. I love putting these in my salads, on avocado toast. They're just really, really good. I also got 2 zucchinis for a recipe. These are huge. 1 cucumber, some of the butterhead lettuce. Not sure if I'm going to do lettuce wraps or a salad with that, but either way it's delicious. Some baby spinach, and then I really like that I can get this Sunny Crunch salad from Misfits Market because this is my favorite type of salad mix, and it's already washed. It's really, really good with like a simple vinaigrette. I got some raw almonds. Excited to try these for a quick breakfast for the kids. Bakerly French pancakes to go. I don't know, those look good, don't they? Good and convenient. I also thought I would try some of the Lakanto sugar-free brownie mix for a dessert this week. Some of the Waterloo grapefruit sparkling water, which I was happy to see because I can't always find all the flavors around where I'm at. Some baby bok choy and some cabbage. I think I'm gonna make some type of salad with that. Carrots. I also got some of the Dave's Killer Bread English muffins. These are really good. These were new to me brand Dive Bomb cashew nuts. I think they're just salted cashews, but either way, I don't know. I was thinking about making a trail mix out of those. We'll see. I really also like this thick cut sharp cheddar cheese. I can't find this around me either. Organic Valley brand. It's really good. Some mozzarella cheese in case I decide to make lasagna. And these lavash breads are really great. You could do pizzas with these. I like to make wraps with them, like spread them with like some cream cheese, put some turkey and some greens and tomatoes in there and roll it up. It makes like a really great lunch. So thank you again to Misfits Market for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so I had a surplus of fresh blueberries from Misfits Market, and so I decided we would make some blueberry bread. I have personally never made blueberry bread before, so I will link the recipe that I used down below, and I highly recommend it. It's very delicious. So each small loaf of blueberry bread calls for 1 cup of blueberries. I had 4 cups of blueberries, so I decided to quadruple the recipe on this, but definitely take my tips if you are going to multiply this times many. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my 4 cups of blueberries and I'm putting them into a bowl and tossing them with flour. This is just going to help them suspend a little bit better in the batter once we pour it into the pan so that all of the blueberries don't sink to the bottom of the bread. I am starting out with some butter, and I'm just creaming that in my stand mixer. I just want to make sure that that is nice and light and fluffy before I start adding the other ingredients. I think that this recipe is so good because it does have a lot of real butter and sugar. I feel like that is the key to delicious baking. So like I said, I'll post the recipe down below along with the cookbook this came from. I'm adding my granulated sugar to the mixing bowl. And since I am quadrupling this recipe, I actually had to transfer it to a larger bowl and start mixing it by hand towards the end, but you'll see that a little bit later. So next I'm going to mix my eggs in. I'm just pouring those into the stand mixer one at a time as this mixes slowly. You just want to make sure that every egg is fully integrated before pouring in the next one. I'm going to pour in some vanilla, and then next I'm adding my leavening agents along with my flour. I think the thing that really gives this blueberry loaf bread the best texture is the addition of some half and half at the end. So you can see that I'm adding that here. My bowl is getting quite full. So once I had all of the ingredients added, I transferred it to a very large bowl and I'm adding my floured blueberries. And then you just want to kind of fold these in as gently as you can. You definitely don't want to break the blueberries up if you can. But it's pretty easy once you get them in a large bowl to sort of fold this in with a spatula. And then I was using this recipe to deliver to some folks that needed a meal. So I cook for Lasagna Love, and then I also had a few family members, including my elderly grandparents who were sick and needed some tender loving care in the form of homemade meals. So I baked several blueberry loaves, which I gave away, and then I also put several of these in the freezer. I did put some coarse sugar on the top before I baked them, but they turned out so good. Okay, so let's prep some caprese pasta salad. This is a really delicious recipe, and I love having this on hand for either a side for dinner during the week or for lunches. I've got some baby spinach here from my Misfits Market box, some orecchiette pasta. These are like the little ears. You can use any type of pasta that you have on hand. I've got some basil pesto, garlic, some fresh sliced mozzarella cheese that we're going to add to there, some cherry tomatoes, red onion, and some red wine vinegar. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add my pasta. I salted this boiling water. We'll cook this for about 10 to 12 minutes and then rinse it under cool water. Okay, so while the pasta is cooling, I'm gonna go ahead and make the dressing. So I've got a couple tablespoons, or well, maybe just 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar, some basil pesto. This is about 1/4 cup. I'm gonna add a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. I'm gonna crush a couple cloves of garlic in here. Okay, let me whisk this together. Basil is a great way to add, or pesto rather, is a great way to add basil flavor to things in the dead of winter. So tip there. I'm gonna add the cooled pasta. Give this a toss just so the pasta doesn't stick together. I'm gonna set this off to the side, and then I'm gonna cut these cherry tomatoes into halves and add them to the pasta. I'm gonna use, I don't know, probably about 1/3 of this mozzarella. I don't need obviously the whole block, but I'm going to cut it into small cubes. You could also use the pearl mozzarella if you have that available. That would be probably a little bit easier. Okay, and then I'm going to add just a little bit of thinly sliced onion to this. So for this part, you can either use spinach or arugula. I have spinach on hand, so that's what I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a taste and see if it needs any salt or pepper, and then we'll put it into a meal prep container. So I feel like it needs a little bit more red wine vinegar, so I'm gonna add that. And then a little bit of salt, some pepper, and we are good to go. Okay, so here is our pasta caprese salad. Really, really good. Honestly, I don't think I've ever made it like this before. I think I've pretty much only made it as a caprese salad, but this is definitely delicious. And you could easily add like a side of grilled chicken to it, or salmon. You would have a quick dinner, or it makes a great lunch as well. I think we're gonna save these for lunches this coming week, and then I'll probably share this one with my neighbor. Actually, I'll probably add a little bit more in here, because I don't want to give her a partial container. She's got a big family, but she'll appreciate that. So next up, we are going to make some lasagna. And if you have been watching my channel for a while, you know that I volunteer for an organization called Lasagna Love. And if you're not familiar with that, I highly, highly recommend you check it out. I'll leave a link in the description box below. Basically, it matches home chefs with folks who need a hot meal. So regardless of whether you are a home chef and you want to deliver meals to people, or you are someone who needs a meal, this is for you. So essentially, I'm making several lasagnas this weekend. I had one to deliver for Lasagna Love, and then I also delivered one to my grandparents because they were sick at home and couldn't go out, and I was glad to provide them a meal. So what you see me doing here is just browning some ground beef in a large pot. I like to make my meaty marinara sauce kind of in batches so that I can freeze it and then have a lot for when I need to make lasagna. So essentially, I season the beef with, salt, pepper, garlic, Italian seasoning, whatever I have in my cupboard. And then I did put in some of the marinara sauce from the Misfits Market Odds and Ends collection. It's really good. And then mix that up, and I just simmer it until all of the flavors combine. I'm also going to make up my ricotta mixture. So I like to use a combination of ricotta and cottage cheese. I am using both the ricotta and the cottage cheese from my Misfits Market box. They have delicious, high quality products. Highly recommend them. I also put some Parmesan cheese in there, some salt, pepper, and some Italian seasoning. And then I'm just going to go ahead and assemble my lasagnas. So I've got two square sort of deep pans here. I start with a layer of the meaty marinara sauce, and then I add a layer of the lasagna noodles, which I basically just parboiled those, and then I add my ricotta mixture. So I've gotten a couple comments over the years about why would you put cottage cheese in your lasagna mixture, and I just feel like it's like anything, right? Like maybe cottage cheese isn't like the proper sort of Italian way to make lasagna, but it is like the quintessential way that I had it growing up, and it's really good. And I don't know. I feel like everyone has their own dish. And so, we shouldn't shame people for putting whatever they want into their dishes. I mean, here in the Midwest, we make tater tot casserole, and to outsiders that may look ridiculous, but to us it's delicious. So basically I layer the noodles with a layer of the ricotta cottage cheese mixture, then the sauce, then the cheese, and then just repeat. And I bake them at around 400 degrees for an hour. And this is what they look like. I let them sit a little bit, and then I will deliver them. So I'm making a couple deliveries. I've got 2 lasagnas, 2 pans of garlic bread, some blueberry bread, salad. So I'm at my grandma's now. I'm going to drop this off and then go over and drop the other one off for Lasagna Love. All right, I just dropped off the lasagna for Lasagna Love, and the lady gave me a card, the thank you card. I thought that was so nice. I have delivered so many lasagnas for Lasagna Love, and I don't think I've ever gotten a card before, so that's really kind of her. I'm going to text her and tell her thank you. But look, there's a rainbow. I don't know why there's a rainbow, because it hasn't rained. So a lot of times on my channel, when I show you guys meal prep, I am sharing like breakfast and lunch ideas, but I kind of wanted to share with you how I would go about meal prepping for a dinner this week. So I've got 2 T-bone steaks right here, and I'm just seasoning them with some all-purpose, multi-purpose seasoning, whatever you want to call it. You can use seasoned salt, pepper, garlic powder, whatever seasonings you like. And I'm gonna add these to a Ziploc bag, because what we're gonna do with these eventually this week is put them in the sous vide. And if you're not familiar with sous vide, it is basically a hot water bath that cooks at a really gentle temperature, so the meat is really tender, and then you sear it like in a pan or on the grill to finish. So that's basically how I would prep these. I'm gonna do some chicken breasts the same way, and then we're also gonna prep some zucchini and some potatoes. So really simple dinner: chicken, steak. Not everyone in my family likes steak, so I always do chicken as well. And then a potato and a veggie. And then here is my chicken breast. I also got this from Misfits Market. So for this, I've got some olive oil, and I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit of this in the bag, not a ton, just to kind of coat the chicken a little bit. And then I'm just gonna use sort of like a all-purpose barbecue seasoning that I have on hand, but again, use whatever you have on hand or you want to use. Kind of like to rub this around so most of the chicken. And then once I cook this in the sous vide, I'll be cooking it at 140 along with the steak, because with chicken you can undercook it in the sous vide and then finish searing it on the stove. Obviously you want chicken to be, I think the temperature is 165. But you can cook it at 140 with the steak and then finish searing it on the stove or the grill. Okay, so next up, I've got this big zucchini. Now, you could slice this with a mandolin. I'm not gonna do that because I like to make my life as difficult as possible. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna slice this into, see, I did that wrong. I basically want this in like long strips that are maybe about like a 1/4 inch thick, like that. Because a while back, Adam and I went out to dinner and I had a salmon dish with grilled zucchini strips like this, and it was really delicious. And so I thought, I want to make these at home. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and prep these, and then when it comes time to make them, I will probably just pan saute them. It's probably what I'll do, just to make sure that they're like nice and crispy. I don't know. It's going to be an experiment, but it's fine. And it's a good veggie side that you could prep ahead of time. Definitely a mandolin would have made this a lot prettier. Okay, so I've got a foil baking dish here. I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil on the bottom. And my zucchini. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna do a little bit of Italian seasoning and then salt and pepper. And these will keep in the fridge for a few days. Don't stress out about it, you know? Yeah, some of the water might, you know, leach out from the zucchini because you salted it, but it's fine. It's gonna save you a ton of time during the week when you go to cook dinner. So there's our zucchini. So I'm gonna cover this, stick it in the fridge, and then when it's time to cook dinner this week, bing, bam, boom, we got a veggie that hopefully everyone's gonna enjoy and eat. I mean, that's the real test, right? Okay, so I also got some potatoes in my box. We're gonna use these for some roasted potatoes to go along with our steak, chicken, and zucchini. I personally would not prep these too far ahead of time. Maybe do it the morning of or the day before, just because potatoes can tend to brown a little bit in the fridge. But we are gonna toss these with olive oil and seasoning, so I think you can kind of get away with it. I'm gonna cut these into wedges and put them in a foil pan. I try to keep the wedges very similar in thickness so that all the potatoes will cook at the same rate. I could probably make roasted potatoes every single night of the week and no one in my family would complain, which is always nice. It's funny, I have one kid that doesn't like baked potatoes, one kid that doesn't like mashed potatoes. Like, who doesn't like mashed potatoes? Really? That's what I say every time. Come on now. But everyone likes the roasted potatoes. So, do you guys remember they used to make shake and bake for potatoes? Do you know what I'm talking about? This was like in the 90s. I can remember my mom making those. I can remember making those when I was a teenager. Like, I'd be assigned to cook dinner one night a week or something, and I would make those a lot because they were super easy. But I've looked for those and I can't find them anymore. I don't think they make them. Okay, another option for these is you can also cook them on the grill. They're really good that way too. They do take quite a while to cook, so you definitely want to put them in long before you put your steak in or your meat or whatever you're grilling. How shall we season these? I think I have some seasoned salt. These may not get super brown and crispy all over since I've kind of packed them into this foil pan, but that's fine. What I'll do is I'll just bake them and toss them a couple times while they're baking, and it should be good to go. So that's an easy way for you guys to prep dinner during the week. You got your protein prepped, your potato prepped. You could also do, if you're doing rice instead of a potato, you could do that ahead of time. You could do pasta ahead of time. You could do a pasta salad ahead of time. And then you got your vegetable prepped too. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys that as an option to meal prepping dinner. Okay, so I thought I would share with you guys how this meal turned out. So I've got my chicken and beef here in my sous vide. This is just a hot water bath. I am planning on making more videos about this because I feel like it's a really like underutilized method of cooking. But essentially I've got my proteins in the sous vide, and then I've got my skillets set up so I can sear them. And then I've also got my zucchini that I prepped along with my potatoes. So here's what that meal looked like. Obviously we had the roasted potatoes and the chicken. I went ahead and loaded my potatoes with cheese, sour cream, and some green onion. And then this zucchini was delicious. All I did was saute it in a pan. Oh my gosh, it turned out perfectly. Highly recommend this method of cooking it. It was delicious. Okay, so we're gonna make some dessert to have for this week. This is a cinnamon bun Pillsbury cake mix I found on Misfits Market. How cool is that? I have gotten a lot of cool baking mixes from them. I'm really surprised with the variety and impressed with the variety that they have. So I'm really excited to try this. So the cinnamon bun cake mix, we're gonna make that with the cream cheese frosting. And I've got some eggs and some oil as well. Okay, so I added my eggs, oil, water. I like to mix up the wet ingredients first to make sure that they are all combined before I put the dry mix in so that I don't have to over mix it. Okay, I'm gonna add the cake mix. You know what I was just thinking while I was making this, that I could have done like the doctored up box cake mix recipes, but I could do that next time. So I've sprayed my cake pan with some nonstick spray. This is a just a metal 9x13 cake pan. I chose this one because it has a lid and it's easy to store. And I'm sorry, my dog is playing with a toy. This cake batter, when I mixed it up, I was like, this smells exactly like a cinnamon sugar donut. So I'm excited to try this. Especially with the cream cheese frosting, I do feel like it's really gonna taste like a cinnamon roll. Okay, so I've got my oven set to 350. Just a note, if you have a convection oven, this is the way I do it. If I'm baking something like bread, cakes, cookies, muffins, I do not use the convection setting because I don't want it to brown super quickly. I use the convection setting for things like roasting meat, making pizza, things like that. Just use the regular for your baked goods. Okay, so my cake is done. I would recommend going towards the lower end of the recommended cooking time and checking it, because this did definitely not take as much time as the box said. I don't know if you can appreciate this from the video, but it looks like my oven's a little bit crooked. See how it's lopsided there? So this is just gonna cool until it is completely cool, and then we'll frost. So our cake is completely cool. I'm gonna go ahead and frost it. So one tip I have if you're using pre-prepared frosting is to make sure you stir it really well before you spread it on your cake. Okay, and then I just prefer using an offset spatula because I think it works the best in terms of being able to spread it evenly. And since I made a whole cake, I'm gonna use the whole can of frosting. Okay, so definitely if you can get your hands on this cinnamon cake from Misfits Market, I highly recommend it. I unfortunately don't have any pictures of the cake cut up because, you know, we just ate it so fast, but it was really great with the cream cheese frosting. So I highly recommend that. If you guys are looking for more meal prep inspiration, I will leave 2 videos for you to watch on the screen right here. Highly recommend those if you want more motivation. And thank you so much for watching this video. Check the description box down below if you want $15 off your first order with Misfits Market. They are a great service and will save you a ton of time. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.